Hello everyone! When I started studying LeetCode and applying to jobs, I wanted something to keep track of everything in one space, but I wanted it to be very efficient but also still cute. So I didn't want to use a Google spreadsheet or anything like that. I wanted something that looked nice because I thought it would motivate me more, which I think it did. So I made my own template through Notion and I will be sharing it with you guys today. I shared this already on TikTok, but I wanted to walk through the entire thing and show you how I used it in depth and then share the actual template. So let's go through it all now. The actual template looks like this, so this is what you'll be seeing, but I want to go through mine so you can see how I personally used it. This one's very specific to me, so I'll just move that down. So let's start with the LeetCode tracker because that's what most of you guys are probably here for. This is my LeetCode tracker. These are all of the questions I completed when I was preparing for my interviews. So I split it up into different categories: the completion, the question, the difficulty, what I was studying this for, the type of problem, how long it took me, and what day I finished it. Most of this is self-explanatory. When you click a question, you can actually access the question on LeetCode because I made it a hyperlink. So for example, if I want to sum on this list, I just click new, I type in to sum, I highlight it, and I paste the link, and it turns into a hyperlink. So I did that for every single question. I just like being able to click it right away and see the question if I want to. So this study column is actually not in the template. I had this because I was studying different things for different reasons. So the majority of the questions were Blind 75 questions, and I realized I sucked at graphs after I finished Blind 75, so I started studying graph questions, object-oriented design, and a lot of Amazon questions because that was a big interview that I had coming up. There's also the type of problem, so I know which questions are easier and which ones are harder based on how long it took me. And the date finished is just for accountability reasons, but it looks really nice in the calendar view, which is over here. So every time you add a new question, it will show up on the calendar, which is really nice. Being able to see how many questions you do every single day is so satisfying. I love the instant gratification. So as you can see, I was doing like 4 or 5 questions a day on average. These 2 weeks I was studying for a front-end interview, so I didn't do any LeetCode then. I really love seeing this view. Once you've done enough questions, this is so satisfying to look at. It makes you feel really good. It makes you feel like you've actually done something, so I like that. You can also click on the question and there's this thing that pops up. So this page is a page of notes and you can access this in every single view. So if I click open here, I can also see that. I like taking notes. About half the time I don't take notes, but if I feel like I need to take notes, then I will. So for example, I really thought I was gonna get this question in an interview, so I wrote the notes. I have even the code here with a bunch of pseudocode, so you can use it for whatever you want. I like to take notes right after I finish the question though, so I don't forget it because I don't remember anything. I don't retain information also. This was my way of trying to remember things. And there's also this gallery view, so sometimes I would need some scratch paper to figure out how to solve a problem. And if I wanted to, I would paste those notes in my Notion template. So all I did was install Notion on my iPad and just screenshot the notes and pasted it in Notion on my iPad. It's not necessary at all. I just did it because there were some questions I just couldn't wrap my head around. Backtracking and recursion took me very long to wrap my head around, so it made it a lot easier to draw out things. Even here, like this is literally on scratch paper. I just scanned it with my phone and then put it here. I also have some screenshots from LeetCode videos because I didn't want to draw it by myself. So I would just screenshot it from the LeetCode video. Yeah, my notes are not formal at all. As you can tell. So that's that view. And the last one is the board. This board is sorted by how long each question took you. And I like this view, one, because it looks really cool. It's very aesthetic, but you can see all of the questions that took you over 1 hour, which you can usually identify a problem area. Which type of question do you struggle with the most? And that's also where keeping track of what type of question each question is comes in handy. Oh, I hate course schedule so much. I had a hard time learning graphs. DP is like, I was just praying to not get DP questions. My brother told me if an engineer gives you a DP question, they probably already don't like you, because that's so mean. But anyway, this is the board view. I don't refer to this too often because as I do questions, I kind of realize which ones I have trouble with. But it is nice having this view just to look at if you want. It looks cool. So that's the entire LeetCode tracker. It's very simple. I try to make it as simple as possible because I hate things that look pretty but are not efficient. I try to make it very simple to use. As you can see, it's very easy to fill it out. You can also add your own topics. So for example, like that, and then you can change your color. It's really, really nice. I like how customizable it is. But that's my leetcode tracker. You can also change the emoji, text, the color if you want. You can change this to a boy if you're a boy. That's what I told my boyfriend. And there are a couple of other things here. So this is the homepage. I kind of just skipped over this because it's not important. The only thing I do here is click leetcode, but let's still go through everything else. I also have a job applications tracker. I have the company, what stage it's at, the position, location, the day I applied, as well as the link. And under each company, I also give myself the option to write notes if I feel like I need notes for that. There's also the stage, so you remember where exactly you are in the interview process for a company. I have my resume up here attached if I need to download it, so for easy access. And here, this is a link to my LinkedIn because a lot of job applications ask for your LinkedIn. And scrolling down, I have this job search to-do list. So these are the companies that I had something due for, because sometimes we forget when we might have a code signal due, or what day an interview is, what time an interview is. So as soon as I find out something, I write it down here. And I have the due date, the priority, as well as the status. I think this is really important so you don't miss any deadlines, because that would suck. I also have this copy and paste section down here that I'm probably gonna blur. They're just things that I don't have on my resume, but I like to include in my job applications because I think it's still helpful to have on the application but doesn't fit on my resume. And this GitHub link down here is a project that I did for school that I also like to include. Now we go back to home. This finances thing has nothing to do with this tracker. This is a personal thing. Okay, so I have this planner if you have anything immediate. I didn't really use this. I used it sometimes. I used it whenever I felt like using it. But once I'm done with something, I drag it into this archive, and this archive has all of my previous tasks that I've done. This is purely if you just want to write stuff down. I don't really use this that much, but you can if you want to. And the homepage also just looks empty unless you have something there. I also have this Grind 75 link because this is what I used to study. I didn't use Blind 75. I used Grind 75 because I could adjust how many questions I wanted to do. I know leetcode 150 is also a thing, so you could just do that instead. I also liked that Grind 75 didn't do it by the type of question. I liked having it randomized, but that's all preference. So, and this is not in the template. This is Amazon LP, which is the Amazon Leadership Principles. I really wanted to pass the Amazon interview, so I did the most when I was studying for it. I created this little table of all of the Amazon leadership principles, and I tried to think of 2 or 3 stories for every single leadership principle because that's just how their behavioral interview works. For example, which one is not cringe? What stories can I apply this leadership principle to? I have this document of a story. So the way I structured my stories for behavioral interviews was using this method called STAR, which stands for situation, task, action, and result. So you basically tell the story in that order. And what I am mapping out here on Notion is each category of that story, because as confident as you might be about telling a specific story or talking in general, you're probably going to be very nervous, probably won't remember everything. So because of that, I like to rehearse what I would say ideally. It's okay if I miss a couple of details when I'm actually answering these questions in an interview. I don't say these things verbatim. I just have this as a general outline of what I would like to say ideally. That was helpful for me. Maybe it's not helpful for you. And that's basically the entire tracker. That's it. It's very, very, very simple. I've tried using Notion before, but I didn't like some of the templates I saw online because I felt like there was too much going on. And as aesthetic and pretty as these templates were, it just didn't feel efficient to me. I've tried to use Notion in the past and I just couldn't, but this is something that Notion was extremely helpful for. I hope that this tracker is helpful for some of you guys as well. My boyfriend's studying right now, so he's using this tracker every single day. He saw my TikTok. Okay, so now we go to the template. This is what the template looks like. It's almost exactly the same. I have my little introduction, and then there's the leetcode tracker. I have a readme in case you want a rundown of how it works. You have the same exact views, and then you have the job application tracker. I have a couple companies just so you have an idea of how to use the tracker, and link to Grind 75. You can link whatever else you want here, and an archive. That's basically it. That was really fast. I don't claim to be very, very good at this stuff. I think I'm a very very average software engineer. This is just what I did to study, and I'm also a new grad, so I don't have to study for things like system design or whatever else things that more tenured engineers have to study for. But hopefully it's helpful for at least my new grads. My brother just uses a Google Sheet, but I don't like the way that it looks, so I made this instead. I know it is a very, very difficult time right now. Interviewing, applying to jobs, studying LeetCode every single day, it's so mentally taxing. If you're in that situation, I just want to wish you the best of luck. Try not to be too hard on yourself. It is very, very difficult right now. The good thing is that you aren't alone. I don't know what to say to make you feel better, but I just feel really bad for everyone who's searching for a job right now because I know how mentally taxing that is. Wishing everyone the best of luck. Please don't be too hard on yourself. I upload a lot of advice on TikTok, so if you want to follow me there, you can. I also upload vlogs of my current journey here on YouTube, so feel free to subscribe as well. I'll see you guys next time. Let me know if you have any questions. I will do my best to answer all of them. Bye. Good luck.